What went down at AEW Full Gear this past weekend? How about the Continental Classic coming back? I will go over a recap of Full Gear and tell you my thoughts on the pay-per-view and give you my cans of whoop-ass rating. And I'm also going to go over the Continental Classic tournament and give you my predictions on that, plus a tidbit of WWE news here on Screw the Script. Welcome back, everybody, to Screw the Script. I'm your host, as always, Maverick here. Thanks for joining me. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I think it's been 5 days now or somewhere around there. Very busy week, obviously, with Thanksgiving right around the corner. I've said before on my channel, I have a family, so having kids and everything, I get pretty busy. I have a daytime job, but thank you for your patience when I sit down here to make a video for you and take the time out to edit it and then upload the videos. It means a lot to see all those likes and comments, so keep them coming. Let's get on to Full Gear that happened this past Saturday night. And if I could sum Full Gear up to one word, it would be unpredictable. It was a very unpredictable evening because I think in today's pro wrestling, we really need more unpredictability in the world of pro wrestling, both in AEW, they could do it better. WWE could definitely do it better. And other promotions. The whole card, the whole night. I made a prediction video as my last video, actually. I got one match right. I'll call myself out on it. I got one right. It was Kris Statlander retaining against Mercedes. Every other match, I got wrong. I have never done that on this channel. And prior to even starting this channel, I don't think I've ever watched an AEW pay-per-view where I only got one match prediction right. And I'm sure there are plenty of you in the comments that may have done better than I did, but also missed a lot of their predictions because, I mean, let's be honest. How many of you out there really had Samoa Joe beating Hangman Adam Page, as you see up here, the graphic? He is now the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. That match, that moment, was a 6 out of 6 cans of whoop-ass for me to start the ratings, because of how unpredictable the outcome was. And it was a great steel cage match. I've said it so many times, I'll say it again. AEW does a way better steel cage match than WWE. They don't have the goofy ass rules that WWE has where you can escape the cage through the door. It is so dramatic looking. It is really stupid looking. I hate it. And, you know, that is just one of many unpredictable matches that happened at Full Gear, and with the Continental Classic as well, which I'll get to in a few minutes after I cover more Full Gear, that also looks to be pretty unpredictable on who is going to advance and who is going to face Okada. Now, a lot of people are probably going to expect Takeshita to, but I don't know. After seeing Full Gear, you can't completely lock in with that anymore. It could be the likely outcome, yes. But what if Okada doesn't want Takeshita to even sniff the finals of that tournament, and then some shenanigans happens where he gets Takeshita disqualified or loses a few of his matches just so he doesn't get his hands on the Continental Championship? I would love to see something like that because I would rather Takeshita challenge him for that unified belt rather than the Continental title. We had other title changes that happened. Again, how many people thought that Brodito was going to drop the titles to FTR? Maybe some of you. I didn't. Brodito loses the belt, the tag belts, to FTR. My only guess is that FTR and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are about to have a monumental tag team feud to close off a great career for both Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge, and Christian Cage. We also saw probably the most heartfelt moment of the entire night, Mark Briscoe winning the TNT title, stopping Kyle Fletcher from breaking the all-time defense record for the TNT belt. How many people had that? I got that wrong too. You know, that match and the previous match I didn't rate, I forgot to. Both 5 out of 6 cans of whoop-ass matches. Just so damn good. Going on to the other title match, the only one that I got right, like I said before, Statlander did retain against Mercedes in one of the best matches I've ever seen Statlander have. and easily her best defense. This was better than the Toni Storm defense match, I believe. Say what you want about Mercedes, but she can really get the best out of every female competitor that she wrestles in the ring. Also a 5 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. Now going on to the 4 out of 6 cans of whoop ass matches, which is actually the remainder of the main card. I didn't have any other matches below a 4 out of 6. You've got Kyle O'Reilly shockingly win against Jon Moxley. Did not see that coming. I thought for sure Moxley was going to win this one, and he taps out again. We all know that fucker is getting kicked out of the Death Riders, probably as soon as Wednesday. Wait for it. It may happen on Wednesday. Claudio is likely to be the leader, or Pac. Although I don't know if Pac is the type of wrestler to be a leader per se. Somebody's going to take over for him, though. I do not see Moxley lasting very much longer at all in the Death Riders. But props to Kyle O'Reilly. An incredible match by him, tapping out Moxley. It got way more violent than I was expecting it to as well. Full Gear was a very bloody event. It was perfect for the sickos out there. We had Pac beating Darby Allin. Again, how many people out there had that? I'm sure there were some of you, yes. But I feel like the vast majority thought that this was a shoo-in for Darby to win, as he has been on fire, and he has been dismantling the Death Riders, taking everything from Jon Moxley, like he said, literally to the point where he's going to take the Death Riders from Jon Moxley himself. I thought that he would at least beat Pac in this match, considering Pac was the one that screwed him over in the coffin match against Moxley, which helped Moxley actually win it. If it weren't for Pac, he would have probably lost that too, which could be a defense and an argument that Pac uses to become the new leader, if he so chooses to be. Also, a 4 out of 6 cans of whoop ass for that match. I believe the only other match on the main card that I have left to talk about, also a 4 out of 6, was the 4-way tag match to determine who gets to pick the stipulation for their match. We saw Toni Storm and Mina win that. A really, really fun women's match. Only one of 2 that happened on Full Gear. I feel like they could have added at least another match, but that is okay. If that is really the only thing that I can knock Full Gear for, is not having enough women's matches, that's really not much to go off of. So overall, you add up those scores, there was a 6 out of 6, mostly 5 out of 6s and 4 out of 6s. This is going to get probably like a 5.5 if I'm going to get pretty damn close to a 6 out of 6 perfect pack rating for Full Gear. You let me know down in the comments what your favorite match was, what you would give Full Gear for a rating. I would appreciate it if you used my rating and not just like a 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 5 star. Give me a 6-pack rating. Did you hate it? Was it a 1 out of 6, like fucking piss water beer? Or was it a perfect pack, 6 out of 6, your favorite beer that you would love to open? That is the rating system for Full Gear. Going back to the main event, we saw the biggest highlighted moment of Full Gear. My Maverick moment was actually the return of Swerve. I was not expecting him to return this early because, what was it, a month or 2 ago, they said that he was still kind of far out from returning. I guess it was just a play, a way to trick the fans, because Swerve Strickland came back to a fucking banger, may I add, of an entrance song that it sounds like he produced and made himself. It's not released yet on the internet. I can shamelessly admit that I have probably watched that moment a dozen times now in the last few days because that music is so damn good. Swerve looks like he added 20 pounds to his body. Unbelievable. Great credit to Swerve. I'm going to quickly touch on Raw before we get to the Continental Classic. Not much to be said, just another regular episode of Raw. Nothing memorable really happened, except probably the most exciting thing that happened on Raw was watching Brock Lesnar fall on the stage. Here's a graphic up there. Looks like Frozone was the one that caused it. I'm just kidding. That was about it. I'm not just saying that to joke around. That's really about all I remember from Raw a day later while I'm sitting here recording this and editing this and uploading this for you, was Brock Lesnar fell. He had a fall. He had a Titus O'Neil moment. Other things that happened, it was just a bad Raw, really. It wasn't that great. Last week's Raw was actually decent. This one, again, did not follow suit and once again dropped back to a bad Raw overall. It had a few moments and that was about it, but that doesn't outweigh the majority of the show being bad. I mean, you saw another flop by Jey Uso. Penta apparently got hurt in his match that he lost, so they continue to not fully push him. You know, he's only getting older. He's been in WWE for almost a year, and they have not fully capitalized on him at all, except when he first started, and they had him go on a winning streak. That's it. That's literally all I have to say about Raw. Totally skippable, or do what I do and just watch highlights on YouTube. Now going on to the Continental Classic, I have it right up here for you guys to look at to announce the Gold League. First, you got Darby Allin, you got Pac, Kevin Knight, Speedball, Kyle Fletcher, and Okada. A stacked fucking card right there for just the Gold League. Then the Blue League, hence why I have the blue light behind me and the gold mask to kind of match what we're talking about here and who I think is going to win coming from the Blue League. But we've got Takeshita, Moxley, Claudio, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Dorada. Takeshita, I think, is going to be the one to go on and likely face Okada for that. That is the predictable outcome. But again, like I said a few minutes ago at the start of this video, I can't really lock in with that right now because of how unpredictable Full Gear was. Maybe AEW is starting to add more unpredictability to their weekly content as well. Here's how I see it playing out. Obviously, Okada will probably be the one. It'll be shocking to see if he doesn't advance and actually has to relinquish the belt to be fought between two other competitors, which that would probably be the biggest shock. And the only person that I could see that possibly happening for would be Kyle Fletcher. Maybe Takeshita screws him over. I don't know. But Okada's likely the outcome for the Gold League. Darby Allin's going to get screwed over by the Death Riders and Pac, I'm sure. Speedball and Kevin Knight will be in it, but they're probably not going to get more than a match or two win at best. So likely Okada does move on here to the finals, but I've got Kyle Fletcher as a close second. The Blue League, I think the Blue League is actually more interesting than the Gold League just because of how more unpredictable it is. I mean, first off, you got Moxley and Claudio. How's that going to go down? They're going to have to face each other at one point. Is Claudio going to also make Moxley tap or pin him, which could further prove why he should be the new leader of the Death Riders? You could have a story angle like that happen. You've got Roderick Strong in there with Orange Cassidy. Strong has kind of just been going in between, riding that wave of heel face. Does he turn heel here to try and advance? Because you never know with Roderick Strong right now. He is very close, I feel like, to turning heel. You got Takeshita, like I said moments ago, being in this, but is he going to get screwed over by Okada because Okada might be afraid to face him? And that could further push a storyline angle with those two. Dorada, I would say, is the only one in the Blue League that I just will say has absolutely no chance of winning this. Much like going back to the Gold League with Kevin Knight and Speedball and Darby, I think all three of them just absolutely will not win that in the Gold League, but that's 3 versus 1. There's only one predictable person that will not win, which is Dorada. Sorry to you, but you're not going to win in the Blue League. It's probably going to come down to either Moxley or Takeshita. Although, again, I don't know. Moxley might lose every match, which would further push him needing to get kicked out of the Death Riders. He could lose to Claudio. He could easily lose to Takeshita. He could lose to Orange Cassidy. He could lose to Roderick Strong. God damn it, he could even lose to Dorada. He is on a losing streak, so never say never. The Blue League, to me, personally, is more interesting. The safe pick is obviously Okada-Takeshita. But the pick that I think would be the most interesting would be Okada and Takeshita kind of just going back and forth with each other, costing each other matches to the point where Okada doesn't even have enough points to defend it. Because if I'm not mistaken, he doesn't need to make it all the way to the finals to even defend that title. He has the title and not just the physical title, but the name title as the best tournament wrestler in pro wrestling history, which you can't really argue that. But is this going to be different? Is this outcome going to be different? Is Okada and Takeshita going to screw each other over multiple times in this tournament so neither of them make it? So the most interesting one for me would be Kyle Fletcher and Claudio. I'm going to lock in with that as my most interesting pick, the one that I want to see as the outcome. The likely safe outcome, like I said, Takeshita and Okada, likely happening at World's End. But I will say it again, I would much rather have this feud draw out even longer. Going to Revolution in February or late January, whenever they're going to have Revolution, and actually have it for the unified title. That's what I really want to see. I will be okay if it is Okada and Takeshita for the Continental belt at World's End, but I really want the unpredictable outcome. After how unpredictable and fun Full Gear was, I would really like to see Claudio and Fletcher. And not only that, Claudio winning it, because he will take over as the new leader after they out Moxley, and then he not only leads the Death Riders, but he carries around that Continental belt after they help him win. But then, again, with how interesting this tournament can go, what if he makes it to the finals after they kick out Moxley halfway through this tournament, and Moxley screws him over, and then they have a feud going into World's End? Or maybe leading up to Revolution if they want to draw it out further. Moxley turns face for the first time in like 2 years. Claudio's the new leader of the Death Riders, and you have that angle. So much could happen with the Continental Classic. I will say that right now on my video, this Continental Classic is going to be better than John Cena's Last Time Is Now tournament. I think is lackluster. It doesn't have anybody in it anymore. That is a nice nostalgia match that we could see one last time. No Edge, no Chris Jericho. They couldn't even give it to Sheamus, and now he's hurt. They couldn't give it to The Miz. They couldn't give it to Dolph Ziggler. It's fucking gonna be Solo Sikoa probably versus Gunther. And knowing how much The Rock has his wet hands in between the checkbook and the decision making of TKO and WWE as it is today, I wouldn't be shocked if Solo Sikoa is the one that wins the tournament and pins John Cena in his final match. It is not something that I want to see, but it is something that I honestly won't be shocked if that is the outcome. That's all I had on this episode of Screw the Script. Let me know down below your thoughts on everything that I covered, your thoughts on Full Gear, your thoughts and your picks on the Continental Classic. Any comments, really. I love reading your guys' comments. I reply to them when I can, and I try to reply to all of them. So yeah, just help me with the algorithm. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, comment anything down below, and it will help push my content. I'm this close to 900 subscribers, and I'm very close to 1,000 after that. I am very excited to see where my channel goes from there. As always, this has been Maverick with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.